Hey everybody, what is going on? It's your boy, it's the 33 and welcome to another episode of TFT Concepts. Now today, there's a special sort of thing that I've lined up for the start of this episode, and basically, I cannot use this same logo, because this is a new season. This is set 2, so I think it's time we rework our logo. There we go. The Rise of the Elements is now online, and Teamfight Tactics is now hitting the concepts of this set. So, with that in mind, let's jump into our first set of reworks in episode 7. So, we're going to start off with Braum. Now, Braum is a 2-cost champion who basically creates a shield. Now, we all know that this shield is just there to protect against shots. Now, this can obviously be an issue. So, why is this in the game, considering the fact that we have Mundo and Nasus, two other options that do basically the same thing as Braum, but they let the shot go through? That's the only difference. Braum doesn't provide any sort of damage like that these two do, and they also heal. He does not without items, so they kind of outpower him and basically are a lot more useful than what he is. So, what should happen is he should be dropping all that and becoming a 3-cost champion and gaining his actual in-game ultimate. It would make more sense as you have an AoE sort of stun lockup here, and considering Sejuani is no longer a glacial, it would provide probably a bit more use than relying on certain champions to provide stuns, because he needs something like this in his kit to be actually quite useful. So enough about Braum, let's look at the next champion. Now Volibear, as you know, his ultimate is very dull, it's very simplistic and basically a weaker version of Rek'Sai's, in the sense that all he does is bite the target and deal X amount of health, whereas Rek'Sai does that and has Predator as an option. Obviously with Predator it means that they're going to pop with the true damage bite that she does. So what we can do is just change that ultimate entirely to something a bit more likable, like his AoE scare. Now this would obviously be a lot more useful. It would do a lot of damage, and obviously it would knock up and push away targets from him, meaning that if he's last alive, it will give him a bit more chance against multiple enemies. Now, I would say it would probably take about the same amount of time, if not a little less, to charge up than his current ultimate, so that would be a very nice option for him to get instead. Moving on, we have Vayne, who is a 1-cost champion. Now, Vayne as a whole is very basic and dull, and in set 1, she was just there to fill up your Nubal team and provide you with that lifesteal early game. Now, in this, she's Ranger and Light, and that's probably one of the only ranged options other than Soraka for a light team. She kind of is lacking in terms of damage, so what would be better would be a little bit of a change up to her kit and kind of give her what I believe to be called the Lucian effect. So Lucian, if you don't know, once he charges ultimate, he used to dodge and basically sidestep and then fire in a nice burst of damage. So why not give Vayne her tumble, keep up the silver bolt thing, but once it's fully charged, the silver bolts, which should be enough to have enough mana, basically means she'll just roll and move position, kind of basically instilling her as the Lucian of this set. And you're probably wondering, well, this is very similar to Kindred, I know, but Vayne needs a bit more mobility in consideration to what light champions there are available. And this would provide a bit more versatility to a light team if you are going full light, which God knows why you would. And final element of our reworks, we're going to talk about Cogmore. Now Cogmore currently is a 1-cost champion. He just fires a living artillery basically every few seconds. Now, another thing is, he has very little damage in comparison to a Vayne. And he's the guy who's meant to hyper carry in normal League of Legends and actually do a lot of damage. So, what I've decided is, why not just change it up from being a 1-cost champion? He's going straight to a 3-cost champion. And his ability isn't changing too much. He's gaining his E into his ultimate's living barrage artillery. And basically, he's just gaining a bit more damage overall into his kit. Like, you don't have to remove so much, like, in terms of damage and attack speed. You can just keep it as is. His stats could get a slight raise, I guess, but there wouldn't be too much needed if you add something like this into his kit. And add a bit more AoE to his actual ultimate. And that would actually be a bit more useful as a champion who's meant to be a predator and be able to do a lot of damage. I don't know. Game needs to work it out. Okay, so now that we're done with our reworks, you think this is over? Oh boy, no, it's not. Let's get into some actual champions. And today, I believe I've got 6 of them. And we're going to be discussing a new sort of origin / set that I have basically created. So we are going to talk about the Galaxy set. Now, this set / trait basically is the replacement sorcerer. This basically means that spells by these champions will do a bit more damage. And obviously, sorcerers, if you don't remember, basically had 3 tiers to it. You had the 3 champion, the 6 champion, and then the 9. Basically multiples of 3. So, I was either going to go with just 2 tiers, the 3 and the 6, kind of match up to how mages are. But instead of that, I think we're going to go with a full 9. And what they can do is, because it's so stupid how you make infernals, they could technically add a new item into the set. Basically, changing how infernals are made with the spatula, because needlessly large rod and a spatula makes an infernal thing. That doesn't make too much sense. Whereas if it's a sorcerer, that would make a bit more sense than fiery things. So, enough dilly-dallying on about how this set will work. Let's discuss champions. Now, to start off, we've reworked how our champion setup is. So here we have a basic design. This kind of outlines everything to you guys. It's a bit more easy to follow than just having everything across the screen. So, let's start with Aurelion Sol. Aurelion Sol, in my opinion, shouldn't really change that much since set 1. He's still going to be a 4-cost champion, and he's going to be a dragon still. We're going to bring back dragon. And he's also going to be a galaxy, which we've just discussed a few seconds ago. And he's going to keep his same ult. Obviously, the burst fire shot that it forces enemies backwards on shot and does a lot of damage. It's going to stay the same. I don't see why it wouldn't be a very good addition to the game mode. Next, we're going to talk about Nidalee. Now, Nidalee at first I had to think of quite quickly because for some reason I had Vi written down, but we can discuss Vi another time. Anyway, Nidalee is a 1-cost champion, similar to how set 1 is, but she isn't the same as her set 1 self. She is going to be not a dragon and galaxy. She's actually going to be a Woodlands. That's a misprint. I'm smart. A Woodlands champion and Galaxy. And she's going to keep nothing the same. She's now going to have a spear instead of her Jaguar form. And she's just going to throw spears. The further away she is, obviously more damage. And obviously the closer she is, the less damage. Obviously this will be a good sort of thing and would be quite unique, I guess, as a champion. However, the damage would be obviously a bit varied, and that's why she's only a one-cost champion. Moving on to our next champion, it is going to be Shyvana. Now, Shyvana, I believe, will see a change, as in set 1, she was broken. So if they were to sort of keep her the same, she's going to be a 4-cost champion. And the way she'll work is obviously be a dragon and an inferno. And Galaxy, she's going to get 3 traits to her name. And the way that she'll work is obviously she's going to transform into the dragon form. But she gets a big fire blast that creates an AoE fire underneath targets. Similar to how Inferno works. But obviously they're going to be circular as well as lighting up the hex is if you go full Inferno. Making her kind of a bit broken. But here's the thing, she'll obviously retransform back into her normal self after about 3 shots from her Inferno Blast. And obviously, basically from that, she's going to have to take a while to charge back up the mana to get back into that form. And she's going to have quite a high mana charge rate to do. It's going to be a lot higher than most. It's probably going to be in a similar range of how it is for Zed or Annie in terms of their summons. And let's move on to Gnar. And I forgot to set up Gnar. So Gnar is going to be a nice 2-cost champion, and with that in mind, he's going to be a mountain and a galaxy traded champion whose ability is he's going to have wait, I'm confused. Why did that happen? Anyway, he's going to have his nice little boomerang. He throws it. If he kills something and he misses a boomerang, obviously he's not going to get the bonus of catching it. So what is the bonus of catching it? Well, it's actually bonus mana. Obviously, if you catch it, he'll gain like an extra 10 or 20 mana towards his mana bar to cast again, which is actually huge considering it'll be quite a low cooldown to charge it up if he gets the catch, else it's going to be quite long. Fairly standard Gnar things there. Next, let's discuss our final champion. And oh boy, we've gone through a lot of champions today. Let's discuss Rumble. Now, Rumble in the jungle is going to be a nice 5-cost champion, and similar to our last time discussing Rumble, he is going to be an Inferno and Galaxy. He's changed up his traits, but his ability will stay the same. It's still going to be the Equalizer. Equalizer obviously is very huge. It provides a burning sensation across the field, and honestly could be very useful burning up certain hexes across the map and making them permanent Inferno hexes throughout the entirety of a round. That would be very, very, very powerful if I think about it, because you're basically locking off spots the enemies can live on. More than what Inferno does, I guess. But that is going to be the end of this episode. I'm sorry there were a few mistakes here and there, but I've made this quite quickly and there's been a lot of effort put into it. So if you enjoyed this, leave a like down below, subscribe if you're new around here if you want to, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.